to this. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. holding a news conference detailing a new effort to provide better insight over organ transplant groups. There's some scary stuff that has been uncovered in this business. Let's watch.
When Americans register as an organ donor, they make one of the most generous decisions imaginable. One donor can save up to 8 lives and enhance dozens more. Yet today, more than 103,000 Americans are waiting for life-saving transplants. Every one of those donors, every one of those families, every patient waiting for that gift deserves complete confidence that our organ donation system is safe, ethical, and worthy of their trust. That confidence also depends on physicians and nurses and transplant professionals who performed a record-setting more than 49,000 organ transplants last year. They deserve a system that respects their medical judgment and puts patient safety first. Maintaining that trust requires strong federal oversight. Under the Biden administration, HHS failed to hold organizations accountable when serious patient concerns emerged. Today, we are restoring that accountability. We will not tolerate organizations that compromise patient safety or betray the trust of donors or their families. I'm announcing that HHS has become the decertification of Network for Hope, the organ procurement organization serving Kentucky and parts of Indiana, Ohio, and West Virginia. We reached this decision after extensive reviews by CMS and HRSA found persistent patient safety failures despite repeated oversight, repeated warnings, corrective action plans, and multiple opportunities to improve. Federal reviewers found serious deficiencies in nearly 30% of the cases that they examined. We found patients placed on the organ donation pathway who should have never been there. We found cases with the donation process continued despite signs that patients were not appropriate organ donors. We found repeated failures in clinical judgment, oversight, and patient safety. And we found that these problems continued even after the organization promised to correct them. These failures had real consequences. One of those cases involved TJ Hoover. TJ showed signs of awareness while on the operating table about to have his organs removed. Physicians refused to proceed with the organ recovery because they believed that he was still alive. Because they acted, TJ is alive and is here with us today. TJ, we are grateful that you're here, and we're grateful to those physicians who had the courage to do the right thing. TJ's story is a powerful reminder that every safeguard exists for a reason. Most organ procurement organizations carry out
we're going to keep listening to this, and we want to bring in Fox News senior medical analyst Dr. Mark Siegel, who has been listening along with us, and we have all been digging into this story. There are some very disturbing situations that have been outlined here, Dr. Siegel, where patients, as we just heard Secretary Kennedy say, in some cases where they shouldn't have even been on the donor list, maybe they didn't check that box, but were regaining consciousness while some of these organ donor groups were trying to make sure their life ended so that they could harvest those organs. What do you know about this? Is this really a widespread problem?
It is a widespread problem because there's not a consensus on what death is. They're using, this organization is using something called circulatory death, where your heart stops if you withdraw the care and your lungs aren't working, but your brain may still be working. And in T.J. Hoover's case, which the secretary is talking about, in 2021, he actually woke up and he had his knees up to his chest reportedly, and he said no, and it took them a while to withdraw care. And Secretary Kennedy, who I'll be interviewing, is concerned that a lot of pressure was being put on the healthcare workers to proceed. And they investigated, Martha, HHS investigated 350 cases in Kentucky and found 73 incidences of this where there was pressure being put on, and it wasn't stopped quickly enough. In fact, the Kentucky legislature has now passed a law that you got to pause, and this is taking place nationwide now, that you have to pause. Is this really someone who should be an organ donor or not? We've got 100,000 people waiting for organs, but obviously it can't be taken from somebody that's still alive, and that's enormously difficult.
It's very disturbing. And some of these cases that you read about, hospital clinicians, they wanted them to administer morphine, propofol, and other drugs to hasten the death of potential donors. Before I let you go, very quickly, if you can, Mark, who's making the money off of this?
Well, this is a nonprofit, but it's a big operation. These are all nonprofits. Miami got cited too, and they got decertified. It takes months for them to be decertified, but this is a big money situation. To your point you just made, by the way, I want to emphasize something. You could be on propofol or a sedative and look like you're dead and not be. That's a really important part of this, and that's part of what led to all of these citations. I would applaud this motion today. It's very important.
Dr. Mark Siegel, always good to see you. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.